Well, Blake Lively will not leave Taylor Swift's name out of her mouth. And Blake, if you are watching, I have a message for you. It's starting to look desperate. And it's also starting to look like you're the type of person that if someone crosses you or does something that you don't like, you put an X on their back and you hold a little bit of a vendetta and you seek out to destroy them. And I think it's going to be a little bit harder to try and take down Taylor Swift. I mean, go big or go home, am I right? But what I am seeing is a pattern with you. When people upset you, you try to take them down. And one of your dragons went rogue. And you don't really like that, do you? The funny thing about this, my friends, is Blake Lively is very clearly using Taylor Swift for clicks after her and her lawyers have gone on the Taylor Swift feminism tour constantly. They have not missed an opportunity to drag Justin Baldoni. They have not missed an opportunity to say that they're using Taylor Swift for clicks. They have not missed an opportunity to say, luckily Taylor's been let out of this because it's all Justin's doing. When Blake Lively said her name over and over and over again during the entire marketing of It Ends With Us. The only reason Taylor's name was brought into this, Blake, was you. And the only reason her name continues to be involved in this case is you. I keep saying it. I'm going to hold a fundraiser. I'm going to have a GoFundMe. And what we're going to do is raise money for a mirror for Blake. Also one for Liz Plank, but a mirror for Blake. Because Blake, you think, if you're watching, it seems as though you don't believe the hate is organic. You keep saying that there's a continued smear campaign against you. But you pull shit like this and people don't like it. So welcome back to the channel, my friends. If you're new to the channel, my name is Ashley Brianna Eve. I have over 15 years of experience in the branding and marketing space. And in recent years, I've gained a particular interest in SEO, particularly when it's used in high profile cases such as this, and narrative control. So I kind of bring you a bit behind the headlines. We talk a lot about branding and marketing and PR moves in your favorite pop culture stories. And because the Blake and Justin case has been all encompassing and I can barely keep my head above water with it, it's primarily what we're talking about. And this morning on live, we stumbled on a video. I was taken off guard. I like to be prepared. I have ADHD. I like to be prepared. And I stumbled on a video, which I didn't realize was a brand new interview with Blake Lively's lawyer, Matt Gottlieb, and Taylor Swift's name was brought up. And here's the thing. If Taylor was not on the table to talk about, it would have been said in advance. They knew Taylor was on the table and they knew that it was going to be used for PR for Blake. But let's dive into this. I found the full interview. We had just found a clip earlier that we played on live. Again, I was completely caught off guard by a lot. The news changes so fast. The news cycle is so quick with this. But let's see what is going on here. Shout out to It Ends With Lawsuits over on Instagram. And this is the CNN interview with Matt Gottlieb, and then I'll show you the headline that they have running in Google. You just can't make it up.
How did Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds react to hearing that the defamation suit against her and her husband has just been dismissed?
It's a day of vindication, Jake, and thanks for having me, by the way. They're vindicated. They are gratified. They are grateful to the individuals and organizations that have.
Oh, I didn't realize It Ends With Lawsuit put you're the best, put these little additional pieces onto it. Vindicated. She wasn't vindicated of anything, first of all. So I have to give commentary for fair use, my friends. Some people get mad about it, but I have to. She wasn't vindicated of anything. It's a clever use of words because then you can take words like that, put them in a headline, and then 80% of the population only reads the headline. So when you start to put Blake Lively vindicated in headlines, 80% of people that are reading those headlines are like, oh, why does everyone hate this woman? Why does everyone think that she's lying? She was vindicated. It's very intentional. In PR, especially in a crisis, every word is intentional.
Stood by Miss Lively as she's pursued these claims, and they are determined. Miss Lively is determined to see her claims through, which are not dismissed, and will go on to a trial that's set.
So Blake Lively, there you go, guys. Watch my video earlier because I had said myself, I thought she might actually drop her claims and go out on a PR high. it would have made sense from a PR perspective. And even Brian Friedman himself had concerns in the interview that he did with TMZ Live. He had concerns that she might drop her claims, but they're making it clear. I'm guessing this is a response to Brian Friedman that they're going to see it through to the end.
For next year, but she's determined to see her claims through and to pursue them to have a full public accountability of what she has alleged happened to her.
And one of the
Did her own lawyer just say what she alleged happened to her? Am I looking into that too much? Let me know in the comments, my friends. Am I looking into that too much? I don't know if I'd want my lawyer going on an interview and saying it's alleged. I thought the whole point was she's saying it did happen to her and she's protected because it's privileged communication because she said it in the CRD complaint.
the things that's so fascinating and also disturbing about this case is how much the internet it plays a role with people trying to get out information to smear. And there was a very orchestrated campaign to smear Blake Lively.
Okay. Oh, sorry, guys. I forgot to put it bigger. So her claims are alleged, but there was a smear campaign. Okay. Her SH claims are alleged. What happened to her is alleged, her own lawyer's words. But there was a smear campaign by Justin Baldoni.
And Ryan Reynolds to a lesser extent. What was that like? What was it like going through that as her attorney?
Yeah, the complaint that Ms. Lively filed alleges that a retaliatory campaign was launched against her back around the time that the movie was released in August of 2024. That campaign was sort of written out in a planning document of exactly the kinds of activities and stories that would be planted about Ms. Lively.
Again, the word alleged, it just seems very odd to me. And I know I tend to get fixated on certain words, or I get fixated on words. I mean, it's my job. I, to this day, work in branding and marketing. It's just a weird choice of words to me.
To accuse her of weaponizing feminism, to accuse her of exploiting people, all designed to discredit her, to silence her. It was a campaign that really took a toll.
So it was a campaign. So again, they're saying this happened. It was a campaign that took a toll on her. But she refuses to also show medical records to prove that it took a toll on her.
On Ms. Lively and a number of other individuals that were really roped into this and harmed by this campaign.
Well, let's talk about that, because the toll I want to talk about is taken on Blake and her family. It created headlines when Baldoni's now dismissed lawsuit brought up Blake Lively's friend Taylor Swift.
So here's the thing, and I have videos on this previously. This would have, if Taylor was off the table, if Blake had an ounce of integrity and left Taylor Swift out of this, it would have been said in advance Taylor is off the table. This sounds very scripted on both sides, which often it is. Everything, especially in a PR crisis, is going to be okayed to go through it. But they just couldn't leave Taylor out of it. And no one forced them to bring Taylor into this. Brian Friedman didn't mention Taylor. Nothing was mentioned about Taylor, where they're responding to something that is currently in the headlines and they're trying to clear the air. They just can't stop talking about her.
Swift was subpoenaed when text exchanges between Baldoni and Lively were revealed to include the name Taylor. Swift's representative says she was not involved in the movie in any way beyond licensing one song for the film. And at the time, you slammed Baldoni's team for bringing Taylor Swift into this.
Okay, so guys, our GoFundMe is, shipping rates are insane these days. And now I have to ship a mirror out to Blake Lively, Matt Gottlieb, and Liz Plank. This is wild. The self-awareness is just, it's gone. There is no self-awareness because what he's about to say is you were slamming Justin's side. When Blake is the initial one that brought up Taylor's name every 5 seconds in the marketing of It Ends With Us, and the marketing of It Ends With Us, if we remember, was done by Maximum Effort. Blake Lively sent a text saying that her and Ryan would take care of all the marketing and that they're like the mafia. But it's Justin's problem. And as they blame and say, we knocked Taylor, here they are, or we knocked Justin for bringing up Taylor, here they are about to talk about Taylor. The lack of self-awareness is astounding.
How did that impact your client?
Yeah, Jake, it's no accident that they brought her into this. The scenario planning document I mentioned from August of 2024 mentions one of the things they planned to do was to plant stories discussing the weaponization of feminism, including how people in Blake Lively's circle, specifically Taylor Swift, have been accused of weaponizing feminism to bully people. This was the plan from long before there was a lawsuit.
I don't remember ever seeing anything that said that, though. Let me know. I could be wrong in the comments, because Justin's side said that was like they were going over kind of like a plan just in case to protect themselves. But I don't ever remember them planting stories about Taylor Swift. The only stories I've seen about Taylor Swift are attached to Blake Lively.
Bring Taylor Swift into this to accuse them both together of weaponizing feminism. So it was no surprise that they tried to bring her into this lawsuit. She has nothing to do with the claims or defenses in this case. And I don't think the court is going to allow the actual claims in this case to be distracted by this or anything else.
So the judge,
And keep in mind, Justin still has other pieces of his lawsuit that he's going to continue with. So I think Brian said there was 4 out of 7 that they are allowed to amend and move forward with. It'll be interesting to see what Taylor might have turned over.
dismissing the lawsuit, Baldoni's lawsuit today, he did not address the merits of his complaints. He rather just said that Blake Lively did not make any potentially defamatory comments other than those in her Civil Rights Department complaint, which are covered by privilege. The judge ruled that Baldoni can file an amended complaint on allegations relating to interference with contract. Do you think he will?
He may. He can't file an amended complaint against all of the defendants that they sued. So, for example, the New York Times has been dismissed. Ms. Lively's publicist, Leslie Sloan, has been dismissed. They don't have claims that they can amend with respect to those defendants. They may try to file an amended complaint with respect to what I would describe as sort of ancillary or side claims in the case.
So again, just responding to what Brian Friedman said, sorry, I have to pause into your commentary about there being 4 out of 7. I mean, the reality is, yes, losing the defamation towards Blake and the New York Times are big hits. Those are absolutely big hits. I do wonder if Brian Friedman had figured those were going to be tough to win, if he figured from the beginning they were going to be very tough to win and that they weren't overly expecting to win those. I don't know.
Case, but the core of the claim, the $400 million defamation and false light claim, is gone from the case. Our claims will continue and go on through discovery and trial.
Are you representing her in her suit coming up in March?
Yes, it's part of the same consolidated case in front of the court in New York.
And remind us again, what is that? What is she suing?
She sued for sexual harassment and retaliation, as well as a number of other claims, and that is really
another number of other claims, but not emotional distress. She dropped those 2. So 10 and 11. And what we looked at today is she looks like her and Justin Baldoni's side have agreed that those claims will be dropped with prejudice. 10 and 11.
About what happened to Miss Lively on the set, which was harassment that she experienced, that she reported privately, she attempted to address and did address through protections for herself and others on the set.
But there's been no formal complaints. Sony even said there was no formal complaints. And I believe there were 3 separate times, if memory serves, that she was offered or had an opportunity for them to be looked into, and she has declined every single time.
And then in response was retaliated against with this campaign that we talked about a little bit earlier.
Is there a lesson for Hollywood in any of this, in any of what happened?
I think that today is a message that these kinds of retaliatory lawsuits that are really designed to silence and punish people who speak up won't work. They are not going to work. They won't be tolerated by our justice system, and they will not be successful. And I think that's an important message for others who want to speak up against the mistreatment that they may face in their.
And while I think it's really important, and I'd probably cut it off with like 2 seconds left to go, but while I think it's very important, obviously, for victims to be able to speak up, I don't agree. And there are a lot of questions around Judge Lyman's credibility in terms of being impartial. There is a lot of questions in regards to that. So I don't know. This might be overturned because it's happened before. A lawsuit was overturned when he ruled in favor of a bank, and it turned out his wife had stock in the bank. Turns out he has stocks in T-Mobile. Whoopsie-daisy, Lyman.
Workplaces.
All right, Michael Gottlieb, thank you so much for your time. And if Justin Baldoni wants to come on to talk about this, here is an invitation. Consider this an open invitation.
Probably reach out to Brian Freeman. His email's on his fucking website. How tacky was that? Brian Freeman's email is very easy to get a hold of. If I can find it, anyone can find it. All right, but this isn't the only time they bring up Taylor Swift. There are 2 other stories that came out within the last 24 hours. Weird, right? Now that's PR. That also mentioned Taylor Swift with Blake Lively. So we see Deadline, Blake's version, Scooter Braun's HYBE America subpoenaed by Taylor Swift pal in Justin Baldoni battle. And you usually can tell a Blake Lively planted story in regards to Taylor because they still try. It's 2 ways they position it. Either she's taking a swipe at Taylor or they're working it out in their friends. Those are the 2 kind of obvious PR angles that Blake Lively takes in regards to Taylor Swift. Either there's a swipe at her or they're pals. But the interesting thing, we won't go through this whole article. The interesting thing is it's the company that's being subpoenaed, not actually Scooter Braun. And it's very similar to how Taylor Swift wasn't individually subpoenaed. It was her law firm that was subpoenaed. So there was really no reason to have Scooter's name in the headline. I kind of feel bad that he's being drawn into this. I know Swifties don't like him and there's controversy over him and Taylor Swift and all of that. I just feel like now just innocent bystanders to this whole shit show that are getting dragged into this. So there was really no reason to use his name. There was really also no reason to use Taylor's name in this headline. But remember, 80% of people only read the headline. And I'm starting to genuinely, I'm not doing this to be hyperbolic, I am genuinely getting concerned that Blake Lively is like out for Taylor now and has like fixed her sights on Taylor instead of Justin, because this is just creepy. Blake, you're going to be the next one with a restraining order. This is just getting weird. So there was no reason to bring Taylor into it. No reason to have an image with Taylor on it. There was no reason to, like, you could have had Blake subpoenas HYB America in Justin Baldoni battle, because that's true. That's who the subpoena is being sent to tomorrow. So Thursday. And this is all in regards to a text message that was found from Jennifer Abel that said at least they didn't mention Scooter. So Blake Lively also criticizes Justin Baldoni's side for sending a subpoena to Taylor Swift when Taylor's name was constantly mentioned throughout the marketing of It Ends With Us. Blake wouldn't stop saying, she was with me every step of the way and all this crap, right? But he's not allowed to send a subpoena to her. But Scooter's allowed to be drawn into this mess over a text message where his name was just mentioned. And it's saying here, whatever info Lively's lawyers might acquire from HYBE America and Braun could play a big role in the BTS of what really went down on It Ends With Us and in the aftermath, especially if it can prove illuminating in what Judge Lyman called a feud between PR firms. What is he going to know about shit that was going on the set? And yet it's kind of like a witch hunt and using Taylor for clicks when Justin sends a subpoena to her, right, Blake? Am I following this insane logic? Because it's very hard to follow. because there was no reason for neither Scooter or Taylor to be brought into this. But you're hijacking keywords. Taylor Swift is in the news right now because of getting that approval for the restraining order. Scooter's in the news right now because he did an interview in regards to everything, including his past with Taylor. Can you not just let her go? You're turning into the creepy ex. It's time to let her go. You're going to get hit with a restraining order. And then, oh, there we go again. It's starting to be picked up by people now. So it was 14 hours ago, deadline. People, Blake Lively to subpoena Scooter Braun and latest legal move after Justin Baldoni lawsuit dismissal. They do leave Taylor's name out of the headline, but interestingly enough, what I searched was Blake and Taylor's names. So this is coming up when you search their names together. Oh, because there it is. There it is, the H2 headline. So this main headline is going to be an H1 headline, your main headline. And this is going to be your H2. And when we're looking at articles for SEO and for optimizing, search engine optimization as SEO, it's going to primarily scrape your H1 and H2 headlines. So there you go. Braun has notably long been embroiled in a legal battle with Lively's friend Taylor Swift. So People, who is lately Blake Lively's source to go to, is calling Taylor her friend. I'm going to need to hear from Taylor at this point. Taylor, I need you to stand up and let people know where you stand, because Blake is running around these streets calling you her friend. So that's why it showed up when you type in Blake Lively's name and Taylor Swift, because it's in the H2 headline. Blake Lively will subpoena Scooter Braun. People confirms. Both Braun and HYB, Braun's K-pop corporation, will be served subpoenas on Thursday, June 12th. First reported by Deadline. Deadline's been getting some exclusives. I'm surprised People didn't get it. For the outlet, the subpoenas will seek documents regarding crisis PR manager Melissa Nathan, who was previously named as a co-defendant in Lively's ongoing case against Justin Baldoni. A rep for Lively had no comment regarding the subpoenas. Someone leaked it. Someone leaked it. And someone that benefits from Blake Lively's name being in a headline with Taylor Swift, I don't think that's Justin's side. All right, let's go back because there's still another one. And the third one that has leaked all within the last 24 hours is this one here. Blake Lively gushes over new role model singer in an apparent dig at Taylor Swift amid rumored feud. What did I tell you guys to look out for? It's either a dig at Taylor or they're besties. Those are the only two. Those, she plays both sides of that. So it says Blake Lively has been praising Cynthia. Oh, yes, she was in her stories praising Cynthia following her show-stopping performance. You know what I bet this is too? Cynthia did perform at the Tonys, but I bet this was all intentional to share that because Blake did not congratulate Taylor when she got her master's, when she bought back her master's. So that shouting out another singer can go and be used as PR. Wicked star Cynthia, 38, kicked off the acclaimed awards at New York City's Radio City Music Hall with a powerful original opening number. Following the sensational scene, Blake took a moment to publicly celebrate Cynthia's talent and branded her unreal. I mean, she's incredibly talented. Alongside a clip of the new Tony's host vocals posted on her Instagram stories, Blake gushed, "This human is unreal. The talent, beauty, elegance, strength, pipes, whimsy. What if... Oh, actually, I was going to say, what did I say in my video about Blake's branding? But I haven't been able to get it out because there has been so much going on that I have to keep bumping it back. Because of all the shit that's going on in this case. But I do have a video coming out about Blake Lively's branding. I promise. But whimsy is something I talk about, as her new brand is all about whimsical and innocence. That's funny. And mischief in every single detail, performing lyrics that were written in real time, so there was no way to have practiced the final version. The courage and confidence it takes to do this is one of the countless ways Cynthia shows what it's like to be a role model. Is that a dig at Taylor, Blake? It kind of feels like one. On screen, off screen. And most simple but meaningful of all, Cynthia's kind. What a show. I feel like Blake would be that friend that you fall out with and they're trashing you and taking digs at you and they'll be like, please take me back, right? We all know someone like that. I mean, probably from high school, but we all know someone like that where they're being an asshole to you and trashing you and you know damn well they are. But then they come, you're like, please take me back. I'm so sorry. That is Blake. I'm sorry. That is Blake. Blake's heartwarming Cynthia tribute comes as rumors of a reported rift between her and longtime friend Taylor, 35, continue to swirl. Last week, a source told Daily Mail that Taylor is leaving Blake's texts, calls, and emails unanswered. It was recently reported that Taylor was has iced out her friend in 10 years due to feeling betrayed and exploited by Blake. Even though Taylor has totally cut ties with Blake, Blake hasn't cut ties with Taylor, the insider claimed. She's been reaching out to her with texts, voicemails, and even emails begging to mend what they once had. Blake isn't giving up on trying to get their friendship with Taylor back on track. Taylor hasn't responded to any of Blake's pleas. She's ignored all of her groveling excuses. I mean, good for you, Taylor. I would too. So this explains there must be some misunderstanding on Taylor's part and that she would never do anything to harm their 10 years of closeness and personal secrets. I don't think anyone's misunderstood Blake. Blake stands accused of unwantingly dragging Taylor, godmother of her 3 daughters, into the ongoing legal battle with her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni. All right. Well, yes. In January, Taylor was named in various legal documents with potential humiliations, including screenshots of alleged texts where Blake referred to herself as Khaleesi and Taylor Swift as a dragon. Can you imagine working your ass off to get to the level Taylor Swift is at and then being called a dragon? Say what you want about Taylor, but she has worked her ass off to get where she is. And then to be called a Taylor, or to be called a dragon, that is wild. Then last month, Taylor was dramatically subpoenaed as a witness by Justin's lawyers. Days later, however, the subpoena was withdrawn after the singer's 73-year-old father, Scott Swift, reportedly provided evidence to Justin's attorneys detailing how Blake's team had allegedly tried to coerce Taylor into making a public statement of support for the actress. It's understood that Taylor has no plans to make amends with Blake amid their continued fallout. Taylor obviously still means so much to Blake, but Taylor's totally done with her, and as of right now, no request will amend their bond as far as she's concerned, the insider added. So that's what I have for you guys. This is all PR from Blake Lively's side at the end of the day. I don't know why she is so insistent on continuing to bring up Taylor's name. I genuinely don't know. I don't know. It's like wear her down until she starts answering your calls again. Like all attention is good attention. So you tick off the friend enough and finally they pick up your call or answer your email. I don't know. I genuinely can't see any positive PR angle of continuing to drag Taylor into this other than her lawyer can go on CNN and blame Justin for bringing Taylor into this and be like, the only reason anyone's still talking about Taylor is because of Justin Baldoni. I don't know. But either way, Taylor is being dragged into this by Blake. Make no mistake. Blake is using Taylor's name for her PR campaign right now and for clicks. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.